The logo. That's the nothing personal word of the day. It is Thursday, June 13th, 2024, and Jerry West has passed away. 86 years old, famous for maybe being the NBA logo. I've been thinking most of yesterday since it was announced that he had passed away. The first thing that struck me, of course, is that the Clippers announced it. The thing about when an athlete dies, there is a discussion about who gets to announce it. The general rule is the current organization announces the death, and the previous organizations add statements to it. That's the rule of thumb. I disagree with that. I think that the organization, it should be like the Hall of Fame hat. The organization that someone is associated with should be the one to make the announcement. I mean, who would make an announcement? It would be like having a baseball team announce that Muhammad Ali died. It's absurd. You can comment after. You can give some sort of remarks, but you don't announce it. Jerry West will be always associated with the Lakers. I spent a lot of the day thinking about Jerry West because when I started with the NBA in the middle 70s, I didn't see Jerry West play. And I knew Jerry West. I knew about him. I knew about him as an executive. He was the one who worked with Pat Riley during Showtime Lakers, won all those titles with Magic. I knew that he had gone on to the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Clippers. The last version of him that so many people had was with that great show Winning Time, where Jerry West was portrayed in a way that made Jerry West and his family uncomfortable. When you are around the game, which I've been lucky enough to be around for so long, Jerry West had a reputation. I'm very careful about how I judge reputations, only because my reputation is so often wrong when I was an executive, and it was so often made by people who didn't know me. So I'm very careful not to judge people I don't know, whether it's actors or athletes or executives or business people. You can comment on things they do, but don't ever comment on the way they are. Certainly not as a father, husband, grandfather, even executive. You can comment on moves, but not on the way in which the moves are done. I spend a show commenting based on my experience about things that an AJ Preller will do, how he gets worked into a Jerry West segment, I don't know, or a Scott Boras. But I can tell you based on experience what I know about the people, what I know about the moves. If you don't know the person, you got to just talk about the moves. So I was thinking about Jerry West, and what I think about a lot going through a midlife crisis right after I went car shopping yesterday is legacy. What will he be known for? And I think it should start and end. Let me say that better. I don't want that to be associated with him. 4869. I think what Jerry West should be known for starts with the NBA logo. When you look at that NBA logo, we have always known that is Jerry West. And the NBA, starting with the Commissioner David Stern and now through Commissioner Adam Silver, they have always denied it. And the only reason to deny it would be if they had not paid the West family, which they didn't. If they couldn't get an agreement with the West family, which it seems like they probably could not. There is a deal to be made, but here is what is not going to happen. The logo is not going to change to Michael Jordan. It's not going to change to LeBron James. It's not going to change to Red Auerbach or Red Holzman. The NBA should take this opportunity right now instead of the statement that it released and all of the organizations releasing their statement. Wouldn't it be amazing if the NBA announced Jerry West will always be remembered as the player, coach, executive, and contributor to the game? Jerry West will become this summer the first 3-time entrant into the NBA Hall of Fame. And Jerry West will always be the NBA logo. What would be wrong with that? Other than I would be critical because why don't we do things for people when they're alive? Wouldn't it be great for Jerry to know? Maybe he did know. Maybe he was sworn to secrecy, though that doesn't seem like his style. Maybe there were winks and nods the way Adam Silver gave yesterday. Hey, we've never said he's the logo, but it sure as heck fire looks like him. Why not take that extra step? For those of you who don't know, Jerry West played in the NBA for 14 years. He was an all-star every year he played. He won a title as a player. He won an MVP of the finals when he didn't even win. Can you imagine Luka being named the MVP of this year's finals? Unheard of. You don't do it anymore. To win the MVP with a losing team for a season's hard enough, but in a championship series, it's never going to happen. But he did that. He was executive of the year multiple times. Jerry West is going to be missed, and here's why. This is a look at me Louis moment, Coca, but when people die, people tend to do that. I do it too. You post, if you have a photo of the person who's dead, you post the photo. Hey, I knew that guy for a very short time, a very long time ago. Hey, let me tell you about the story of me and that guy trying to gain some sort of attention and clicks and love by transitive property of who you know. Guilty. I had a conversation with Pat Riley. This is a double about Jerry West. One of the coolest things, people ask me often, what is the coolest part about being, this is off the subject, Coca, sorry. What's the coolest part about having been the president of a team for 16 years in Miami and running a team for 2 years in Montreal, having 18 years, that's a full career. That's longer than most people do anything. And what was the coolest part? And people would assume I would say all sorts of things because in their mind, there are 59 cool things. And I grant you, there's a lot of cool things, a lot of not so cool things, like anything in life, like any job. I would say the coolest part was having a relationship with Pat Riley because the Knicks were my team and Pat Riley was my coach through the 94 finals. And what he did to me when he went to Miami, how I felt betrayed, how I looked up to him and wanted him to win, and what it meant when he came from the Lakers to the Knicks. And then when he was president of the Heat and I was president of the Marlins, we were, if I can say this, equals, though I never felt that way. And every time I was talking to Pat Riley, every time I said, this is cool. The only time that happened in baseball, and it went away really, really fast, was the first time I met and interviewed Don Mattingly, which is so unprofessional, but I knew he was being hired because the owner said we're hiring him. So I was sitting in a room interviewing Don Mattingly thinking, I'm interviewing Don Mattingly, my favorite Yankee of all time. So there are certainly cool moments. Pat Riley, we talked about Jerry West because we were talking about building teams. And we were talking about what's needed to build a winner. And this was before analytics had taken over, but they existed. Another mistake that people think is Michael Lewis invented analytics by telling you what Oakland was doing. Oakland was not the only team doing Moneyball at the time. It's totally preposterous. It's absolutely offensive within the game of baseball that anyone out there thinks that Billy Beane somehow created something and the rest of us were like, oh, what's that? Let's do that. That seems like it could be a good idea. Not at all how that actually went down. But in any case, we were talking about building a team. And I was asking about the Lakers. And Jerry West is the one who had taught Pat Riley or had worked with Pat Riley on this concept. And it's a concept I thought about, and it's so hard to do when you're running a team, and I only did it part of the time. The concept was, when you are putting players together, you have to imagine them in the role they'll be with your team, not in the role they were with the team that they used to play on. And what it used to be is when you bring a player in, you assume they're going to be the player they were on your team. But the fact is, to make a good team is you have a player come in who can be molded into a team player and give what you need for that team to be successful. Think about that when you're putting a group together. I wonder whether when the Mavericks were put together or the Celtics were put together, did people think about that? Did Brad Stevens think about it? Jerry West passed away at 86. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. The NBA Finals are an unmitigated disaster. I'm sorry, ABC and Disney, but they are. The halftime shows being criticized, the play-by-play never criticized Mike Breen, but the analysts' work, Doris Burke is amazing, JJ Redick is fine, but I could easily tell you that Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson were way better, and that could be the Nick and me talking, or maybe it's the quality of their analysis, or maybe it's you can't judge a body of work like Mark and Jeff against a one-year look the way it is with JJ and Doris. I get that. They get the benefit of my doubt. The NBA is watching game 3, and they are saying to themselves, we got to get a Dallas victory. Dallas starts off strong. You got to make it a series. As I told you, there had only been 9 games in the conference finals out of a possible 14. The most they can get is 16 out of a possible 21. Not good. You want to get into the 18 to 21 range, always with the 3 series. Dallas starts off. Irving and Luka are HO-triple-T. The thing about the NBA that Adam Silver needs to fight against, and this comes up often because he talks about load management and he changes the rules about how to win MVP. What he can't change is the narrative that has existed for a pretty long time. Hey, just get there for the fourth quarter. You're going to be fine. You have an early lead. Everyone gets all excited. Lines move. One of the things about gambling that always occurs to me is when the in-game lines move, like when the Celtics are up by 21 or the Mavericks are up by 8. When you have a conviction about a game and something happens in the first quarter, you have to ignore it. The number of runs in a game, again, a Pat Rileyism, NBA is a game of runs, and last night's game gave people the runs. The Celtics ended up prevailing, taking a 3-0 lead. A couple of things happened in the game that were incredibly bothersome to me. You can't have the referees fouling out Luka Doncic. You just can't have it happen. 4 minutes left to go. Mavericks had fought back from 91-70. They'd cut it to 2 or to 4, and then Luka fouls out. Now, granted, I agree that Luka's 6th foul was more likely a block than a charge, but I'd rather be wrong. I would rather a borderline call go to the player that doesn't have 6 fouls. And if you think that referees don't pay attention to that, they know how many fouls the players have. And the way I know this, A, by speaking to referees, but B, a little nugget, there may be an MLB umpire and an NBA referee who are brothers, which may have led to the ability to speak to NBA referees. So, 2 guys go up for one team for a rebound. They go up against a third guy. There's an over the back. Both players went over the back. A foul is called. It's a clear over the back. Who gets the foul? The answer is the player who's not the star or who has the fewest fouls. That has been going on for decades. It's the right way to be. I blame Luka for the ticky-tack crap fouls that he didn't think mattered early in the game. When he does little reach-ins after he misses a shot and he raises his hand and says, fine, it puts the referees in a bad position. He is fouled out of the game, and that was it. Because the Mavericks, the way they're built, you've got Irving, you've got Luka, that's it. And I'm not sullying Lively, I'm not sullying Washington, I'm not sullying Hardaway Jr., though we could. You can't look at that Dallas team and say, hey, these guys are deep. These guys can withstand an injury. These guys can withstand not playing defense. I don't know anymore because Twitter has totally changed. It's now X. I don't think anyone can see what tweets are liked or not liked. That changed yesterday. I sent out a tweet that I didn't regret, but I really wanted to think about it, about Luka and how I view him as one of the best players in the NBA. And then I really have been watching very closely this playoffs, and I'm thinking, God, he's so good offensively, but man, is he lazy on defense. Excuses notwithstanding, he's carrying the offensive load, says his coach, Jason Kidd. We've got to have his back. It's a bunch of horse hockey. You got to be in shape. You got to move your feet. You have to take defense as seriously as you take offense. Why did the Mavericks go on that huge run? Yeah, the Celtics had a few turnovers. Yeah, they missed a bunch of shots in the fourth quarter. But did you notice the Mavericks defense? That loss is on Jason Kidd and those players who don't feel they need that defensive intensity the entire game. Don't start playing a certain way because you're desperate and downtrodden. Play that way the entire game. So that's it. The Mavericks are in a position where the series is over. I don't care what the line is on DraftKings. Minus 6,000, minus 3,500, minus 20,000, minus infinity. The number of teams who have come back from down 0-3 in the NBA playoffs. Tell me the number. 0. 0 and 156 when a team is down 0-3. What does that tell you? David, it could happen now. Look at the Heat. They were down 3-0 to the Celtics. Excuse me. The Celtics were up 3-0 to the Heat. That is the same as saying the Heat. No, the Heat were up 3-0 over the Celtics last year in the conference finals. The Celtics won 3 in a row, and they had a home game 7 to become the first team to ever come back from 0-3. Guess what? The Heat won on the road in Boston last year in the conference finals. That's how it goes to 0 and part of 0 and 156. Baseball, same thing. David, what about the 0-4 Red Sox? They came back to beat the Yankees down 0-3. It can happen. Yes, it can, but not in this series. The likelihood of the Mavericks beating the Celtics 4 games in a row, it's 0. It's not even a half-life of 0. It is 0. There is no line that can reflect the unlikely event of the Mavericks winning 4 games in a row against this Celtics team, because the Celtics are that much better than the Mavericks. They're that much deeper than the Mavericks. Give me 4 tries to win 1 game. Yes. Give me an unlimited supply of money, and yes, I would place that wager. What will it mean in this offseason? What will it mean for the Celtics to have this championship? Everything. They will pass the Lakers for the most championships of any team. They become the Yankees of the NBA. They don't have as big a lead as the Yankees have in World Series, but close enough. And the irony of Celtics, Lakers, Jerry West. How do you think Bill Walton feels? Does he feel like Farrah Fawcett just a little bit? Had his moment, and then all of a sudden Jerry West passes away within days? Well, we'll see how it all shakes out. But right now, get ready for a parade in Boston. Ugh. I love when trades make the news. I love trades in baseball, both as an executive, as a fan, now as doing this show. Trades are good. They're fun. But can we talk about trades and learn something about trades? I can't stand when it is reported Dodgers make big acquisition, acquire left-handed bat Cavan Biggio. What? Biggio is designated for assignment by the Toronto Blue Jays. Let me explain what that means. That means that a team says, we don't want you at all. And in the next 7 days, we're going to release you, waive you, or trade you. One of those 3 things. Do you know what you do when you designate a player? You have your assistant GM, your other assistant GM, not even your GM. They split up the 29 teams, and they call every one of them. You want this guy? No. Why do you ask? All right, thank you. Click. Hi. Do you want this guy? What does he make? A couple million? No, thanks. See you later. Hey, do you want this guy? You go down the line. The AGMs always want to draw the Dodgers as the team to call when a player's designated because the Dodgers are the team most willing to take a player who is designated. It used to be a couple teams would do it. You could maybe get the Giants. You could maybe get the Yankees. Now it's really mostly the Dodgers when there's a player making money. Because when a player's designated, like the Marlins designated Garcia and they owed him $20+ million, if someone trades for Garcia during that 7-day period, they take his contract. His contract gets assigned to the team. It's a regular pre-trade deadline trade, which maybe is why they announced it as a trade. But nobody's taking on Garcia's money because once you don't trade for Garcia, the Marlins then waive him, which they did. He then is free to sign with any team, for the league minimum. When you put a player through waivers, the ability to claim a player is inversely correlated to how good your record is. The way waiver claims work is the team with the worst record gets the first shot at the player. Hey, Garcia's been waived. We would get a list every day. Here's the players who are going through waivers. Hey, what does his contract look like? He's owed $20 million. Pass. We're not going to put a claim in on him. If you're the worst team in the league, you put a claim in on a player, you get him. If you're the best team in the league with the best record and you put a claim in on a player, you only get him if no other team claims him. So it is possible that the Dodgers could have put in a claim on Biggio and gotten him that way. But when you're calling other teams, other than the team with the best record, you say, hey, if you don't trade for him and he goes through waivers, you may not get him because someone may claim him. He's only making $2.5 million. It's the end of the world. Is that what he's making, Coca? Is it like a 2.4 this year? I can't remember if that's what he has left. There's no way he's a $5 million player, but maybe. I don't think so. I'm going to say he's 2.4 for the year. Let's say we're halfway done with the year. You're picking up 1.2 million minus half of the league minimum. So you're really adding 900 grand to your payroll. Who's going to add 900 grand? He is at 4.2, so he has 2.4 left. So you're adding 2.4 to your payroll. That's why I had that number minus the prorated minimum, which let's say is 400. So you're taking on $2 million. Who's taking on $2 million? It's the same thing as taking on $1 million. Who's in position to take on that money? It's the Dodgers. But it's announced that they acquired a versatile player to reinforce their lineup. Muncy's hurt. They're getting no performance from Taylor, from myriad other infielders. Bring him in. He's an unwanted player. What Andrew Friedman and other executives who do claims like this, who do trades like this, and by the way, they traded a bag of balls for him. That's how DFA trades work. Do you think you call up a team, the AGM calls the Dodgers, hey, we got Biggio available. Oh, well, we'd actually take a look at that. Well, he's owed a couple $1 million. Yeah, no, we'd still look at that. And Toronto would say, well, who would you like to give in return? And the Dodgers would say, how do you feel about nothing? And the Blue Jays would say, I feel great about that. Just put a name in, a warm body, a guy who can fog up a mirror. And I don't mean to offend the player who is traded for him at all. I'm not going to do that. But that said, can you fog up a mirror? Because that's pretty much what Toronto wanted in return and what the Dodgers were willing to give in return. Because the Dodgers are taking on the money. Toronto unexpectedly gets to save $2+ million. Believe me, that matters as you're approaching the deadline, as you're thinking of adding. If you can you imagine? I can't even, the dream of designating Garcia if you're the Marlins and having someone pick up his contract. It's like a joke. It's completely out of the question. Biggio's got a great name, though. Son of Craig Biggio, no doubt. One of the big three with Guerrero over there and Bichette over there in Toronto. Didn't exactly work as planned. I guess I just want you all to realize that the Dodgers are using their money. They're using their financial wherewithal to, again, take a chance on a player where it doesn't matter if that chance doesn't pan out. They take the $2 million, they light a match, they light a cigarette, maybe a doob, and they say, great, that didn't work, on to the next. The other bunch of us, 20 of us, if that happens, we're like, uh-oh, fire up LinkedIn. Big trade in baseball. Na 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 na. I've been waiting for this day. When we come back, we're going to review Jurassic Park, and then we are going to get to talk about something that will make you smile. I can promise you that, because I wish if we were a bigger operation for the segment we're going to do after the break, I'd have a plate of hot dogs, I'd have a towel, I'd have a bowl of water, I'd have someone doing play-by-play. But instead, you'll just have me. Stick around. We'll be right back. Nah. Is it June 25th yet? Anybody excited to see me in St. Louis? I'm excited to be seen in St. Louis. I'm excited to do a live, nothing personal, in St. Louis at City Winery, June 25th, 12 days away. The tour continues. Got my file cards ready. Got the rundown ready. Got plenty to talk about the Cardinals. Plenty to talk about St. Louis sports. A few other nuggets that will come out. That is an amazingly funny reference that only people in St. Louis may have just gotten. And even you may not have. Big Mac land? No. Nuggets? Hello? Chicken McNuggets? Anybody alive out there? Today's Thursday, not Friday. Sorry, Caleb, I got that wrong. Told my son on the phone yesterday, hey, you got this. He's having a tough week, big week, working hard. I said, hang in there. Tomorrow's Friday. He said, Dad, tomorrow's Thursday. I said, shite. Got that wrong. Oh, I don't think I can say that. Back after these messages. Hi. I am schwitzing. My air is not working. It is 92 degrees right now. Do you ever get the pool right at the nape of your back? That's where I am right now. Jurassic Park is in my top 100. We are reviewing the top 100 movies every single Thursday. We have a different one from the top 100, and I get to rewatch my top 100. I've seen Jurassic Park a lot. Really a lot. I remember, there are not many movies I remember seeing for the first time. Silver Streak, I remember being in the theater and looking up at the screen and saying, this is what I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I remember that feeling. It was my own birthday party. No one else at the party liked it. It was a small party. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I remember seeing Basic Instinct. I remember seeing War of the Roses. Yes, the night before I got engaged. Not smart. I remember seeing Jurassic Park. Clear as day. I remember looking up and saying, I cannot believe that I am in fear and in awe of what appear to be and must be robotic, if not CGI animals. Jeff Goldblum, love you. Sam Neill, Laura Dern. I grew up, can we talk about this for 1 second, Coca? Side note, when I was in 7th grade at Horace Mann, while dodging all the handsy people, I did a report on Gandhi, a detailed report that you had to type. There were no computers. You typed up your report on a typewriter and you research it through the encyclopedia. Yes, that's what it was before Google. And the movie came out. There was a movie about Gandhi, and that's how I learned about Gandhi. And then I did real research and wrote a paper. I don't remember. Do you remember the year of Gandhi, Coca? Could it be I'm going to guess 81, just as a thought, because that would put me at 13 in 7th grade. So that's my thought. Can you check that for me? Why is Gandhi in my head? Oh, Richard Attenborough directed Gandhi, and I'm watching Jurassic Park for the first time, and I'm looking at the person, welcome to Jurassic Park, and that's Richard Attenborough. Oh, it came out in 82, so I was in 8th grade. Thank you, Coca. Off by a year. Not terrible. Richard Attenborough is the founder of Jurassic Park. After further consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. Well, I do endorse the movie. I don't endorse all of the sequels, but the original Jurassic Park has music in it. Na, 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 na. When they're in the helicopter and they're approaching, or when they're leaving the island, it's psh, the T-Rex, the shaking. I can't even. Go watch the movie. It should be on your top 100. All right, what do I get to watch this week? I have a long plane ride, which we're going to talk about on tomorrow's show coming up. But let's see what movie we're going to review next Thursday. Hit the button, Coca, and tell me what we're going to get to. Oh, Adnan. I get to watch my number 35 movie, Goodfellas. I actually haven't watched Goodfellas start to finish. Goodfellas is the type of movie where when it's on, you're sort of check it out. You may watch it all the way through. You may just watch a certain scene. I do this. I think of Goodfellas. If you're watching this on the Nothing Personal with David Samson YouTube channel, thank you. Look what I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm showing you my neck, but look at that. What I'm doing is I'm looking up as though somebody's following me. I do the Ray Liotta all the time when I hear a helicopter or whatever I'm doing during the course of a day. Is somebody after me? Is somebody watching me? I do often think of that as I do things during the course of the day. Like if somebody's watching me, wonder how that would come out. Nothing Personal Pick of the Day. Presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Tonight is a pivotal Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers made it by getting on Noah's Ark and somehow found a way to Edmonton with only 22 hours to go before the puck drops tonight. The weather has been frightful in Florida. It is a must-win for the home team and the number one line of Edmonton, headed by Connor McDavid, has to figure out a way to score. They've got to get on the board. They've got to get points in this game because should the Panthers go up 3-0, the cup is theirs. Do I see the Panthers losing 4-5? No. Do I see the Oilers making this a series? Yes. The Oilers are only minus 135 at home over the Panthers, which is a nod to how the series has gone. It's a nod to the Panthers' defense, but it is slightly undervaluing the Oilers' offense back in Edmonton against a really tired team that just traveled 2,471 miles. The pick of the day, presented by DraftKings, is the Oilers over the Panthers. Our Nothing Personal pick of the day yesterday was the Mavs over the Celtics. I really thought the Mavs would make a series of it. And then I'm watching and I'm thinking, God, the Mavs are dreadful as compared to the Celtics. We are 81-92 going into tonight's pick. I have let you all down. And I love the relationship that we've built over 1,072 episodes, plus sit downs, etc. I try to keep up with all of the wait to sees because I tell you always, I am going to revisit wait to sees. When I get them right, when I get them wrong, I promise you I will revisit them. And there's two things that we do. We have accountability because on davidsamsonpodcast.com, if you go to that website right now, A, you can get merch and enjoy it. And you can rep Nothing Personal proudly. Or B, you can go to the link and you can see every one of my wait to sees that we've done on this show, every one of the picks of the day, every movie we've reviewed. You can even see my top 100 list. You can even see the shows that we've reviewed of the top 100. But on the show, we have not gone through wait to sees in a long time, and I wanted to get to it today. Why today? I don't know. But I just started feeling badly that I didn't even follow up on a wait to see from June 9th of 2022. That's what struck me. 2 years ago, I said the FBI will settle with victims of Nassar, that monster who's in prison for violating all those gymnasts. He can't possibly be violated or dead enough. The FBI did settle with the victims of Nassar. We got that one right. In November, late November of 22, there was a lot of talk about Man U. Remember when Man U sold to Jim Radcliffe? Well, I had told you on November 23rd that Man U is going to sell in full. I thought the Glazer family would sell it all. It turns out they did not. I got that wrong. Man U sold a percentage, like 25% to Jim Radcliffe. The good news is 2 days later, I gave you a wait to see on November 25th that Man U will sell for under $7 billion as a valuation. It did. There were rumors that it would go for $7 billion, maybe more. It ended up going for a valuation of $6.3 billion. I tried to be smart way back a year and a half ago, January 6th of 2023, January 16th, sorry, of 2023. We were talking about automatic balls and strikes and the automatic zone. And I'm a baseball guy. I am so ahead of my time. I said there will be an automatic strike zone by 2025. Well, while it's only June of 24, I'm accountable to you for that wait to see because I'm wrong. Rob Manfred came out, the commissioner, and said there will not be an automatic strike zone by 2025. I was wrong. Maybe only by a year, but a no is a no. I'm shocked that Tom Brady is going to be an analyst at Fox. Did I read, Coca, that he's using AI to prepare himself? My name is Tom Brady. I will use AI to tell you who the cornerback is for the Houston Texans. I will then have them in my ear during the game. What would be a good thing to say when there is a 4th and 3 coming up? Should they punt? Do you know how much prep is needed to be an analyst? I still don't think Tom Brady is in it for the long term. I don't think it's possible. He understands the grind of the schedule, the grind of the prep. Don't ever take Olsen, Madden, any of them for granted. It's hard. That's why I am able to give JJ and Doris, well, Doris is amazing, but I'm able to give them a break for not building a rapport quite yet. It's hard. On May 23rd of 23, I said Tom Brady will not be a Fox analyst. This was over a year ago. I said NGTH, baby. I remember doing the show. Guess what? They announced which game he's starting with, which means he is going to be an MLB Fox analyst for the NFL, which means I got it wrong. September 15th, 2023. I'm going through many of the wait to sees that I had not done on the air. There are others that I won't be able to get to, but in the document, there will be a yes or a no. But I'm accountable. Remember when Alex Manoah had all those issues, the Toronto Blue Jays player? Last September of 23, I said Manoah is not going to be on the Blue Jays in 24. The Blue Jays are either going to release him, trade him, something, because he stinks and he's a problem. Guess what? Manoah was on the Blue Jays this year. He's now out for the year hurt. I bet they wish he weren't on the Blue Jays, but I got that completely wrong. 2 weeks later, we had a big segment that really annoys me to this day. On September 29th of 2023, I told you the NBA was going to investigate the Portland Trailblazers for tanking. Do you remember back then when Lillard did not play the last 10 games for the Trailblazers? He just didn't play. And the thought was, hey, he was trying to get them to improve their lottery odds, get them to have a worse record. He admitted it, basically. He then got shut down for that calf injury. Guess what? The NBA never investigated them for tanking. I can't even believe it. The Trailblazers went 1-9 that season. They got the number 3 pick. They selected Scoot Henderson, and I was positive that they would not want teams to do it. But they didn't. Some recent ones that I want to get out of the way. April 25th of 24, Blake Snell got hurt. I said Blake Snell will miss more than 15 days. Guess what? He missed more than 15 days. We got that right. One of the ones I got really wrong was on March 25th. So I'm going backwards a little bit. I told you that Ohtani, that situation would not be concluded until the end of the season. I did a whole thing about Ohtani, how baseball would just leave it alone. There's way too much to investigate. I totally underestimated, how badly MLB wanted to get rid of the whole Ohtani situation so badly that they buttoned up and finished that investigation and announced it, and psh, it's done. It's like, who can even remember that? That was only on March 25th, and I got that one wrong. Most recently in the NBA, on May 2nd of 24, I said the Sixers will win Game 6 against the Knicks. For whatever reason, I didn't follow up after the Knicks eliminated them. I should have, to tell you I got that wait to see wrong. And how did I not follow up on May 21st when I said the Celtics will beat the Pacers in 6 games? They swept them. Why would I not follow up and tell you I got that wrong? But I did. So there you go. That's just a little catch up on some wait to sees, just to continue to tell you I'm accountable, and I will always be accountable. Even when I sit here as Albert Brooks, I am accountable. I feel like I have the meat sweats. Let me do that better. Good. Okay, here I go. Ready? I'm going to wipe my brow when I do it. I am going to be accountable for all wait to sees. I promised you, and I always will be. I feel like I have the meat sweats. I'm dripping. Can you see it? I feel like I'm in Minority Report. Can you see it? Can you see it? That's Samantha Morton talking to Tom Cruise. Can you see it? See what? Nina Lively. It's not Nina Lively. It's Nina Simone. Blake Lively. Ann Lively. Oh, no, that's Annie Get Your Gun. Don't know who it is. Come on. It's Thursday. Or is it Friday? The meat sweats are when you eat too much and you say you've got the meat sweats. I don't quite get that because I don't normally get the meat sweats. I just get the sweats when it's hot. The thought of doing a hot dog eating contest. I told you I went through 18 years in baseball and didn't have one ballpark hot dog. Not one. Zero. Kosher, not kosher, didn't matter. Wouldn't have a not kosher hot dog, but didn't eat a kosher hot dog. You start eating a hot dog at a baseball game, boom, you're looking at $1.80. And I like sitting right around $1.32. Joey Chestnut, we did a whole thing about him. He made big news yesterday. Banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Go listen to yesterday's show. We did a funny and interesting segment about that. And if you had on your bingo card that Joey Chestnut gets 2 days in a row on Nothing Personal, then you're a lot smarter than Coca, Sarah, and I. Because in a million years, or 1,072 episodes, I never would have said that short of criminal activity or certain choking during a contest, which I would never wish on anyone, I'm not thinking he's getting 2 days. Yesterday, out of nowhere, seemingly, Netflix announced that this Labor Day, September 2nd, you are going to get a mano a mano. Chestnut versus Kobayashi. Unfinished beef. When Netflix said they were starting to do live events like golf, some funny golf matches, they were going to do some boxing matches, Jake Paul against Mike Tyson. They're going to get some rights to the WWE and give you some raw moments. I told you on the Sporting Class, and so did John Skipper and Pablo Torre. We'll have another episode of the Sporting Class coming out on Friday, which is not today. It is tomorrow, though. I told you that Netflix is going to get in the live rights game. They are going to be a bidder. They're going to start looking at packages. Netflix continues to say, hey, listen, we are thrilled to be doing these one-off events. And here's what was pitched to the head of Netflix. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the 2 greatest eaters of hot dogs. the two biggest champions. This is Jordan against James. And we're going to have them do a hot dog eating contest just one-on-one, and we're going to totally screw over Nathan's. And we're going to screw over the broadcaster of that one because people are going to want to watch us and not on July 4th, Nathan's. So get ready. It's going to be live on Netflix. I did know Netflix had WWE Raw. Oh, it's not starting until 2025. Thank you. Good update. Thank you for that, Coca. So can I just give you my view of us as a people, as a species? Do you know why Netflix is willing to put this live on the air on Labor Day? Because you're going to watch it. And I'm going to watch it. Because there's something about watching people do something that grosses you out, that you can't do, don't want to do, never will do, but you're more than happy for someone else to do it. It's sort of like Evel Knievel. Hey, I'm not going to cross the Grand Canyon, but hey, I'm happy to watch it. And it wouldn't be terrible if the motorcycle crashed. Oh, don't lie to me. Don't tell me you don't watch the Flying Melendez scene if they're actually going to fly. Come on. You're not going to watch Chestnut versus Kobayashi to see if someone pukes, to see who can look the grossest, to figure out who's got the best strategy for dipping the bun, shoving it in 3 at a time while you're sort of vomiting inside your mouth during your Labor Day barbecue, wondering how it is that Netflix just checkmated you because you're all watching it and then you don't cancel and you're looking at $9.99 to $18.99 a month. Hello. It's called business. No, the show's not over, but it's called business. And it's good business. Congratulations. You win, Joey. Though I do have a wait to see you're going to perform on July 4th, and I think I'm going to lose that because my guess is you promised Netflix, forget Impossible Foods, you promised Netflix, by the way, don't you worry, I won't do Nathan's. But just a couple months later, I'm happy to do yours. I end the show with a 2-minute commercial. I don't mean a commercial like a paid commercial. That would require something totally different than what you're going to see right now. This following commercial is brought to you by David Philip Samson. Dear fan, we love when you come to our games and buy tickets. We love that you are emotional about our team. There is one thing that we'd like you to do for us. We'll put players on the field. We'll try to win once in a while. The team will lose. The team will win. We'll try to entertain you as much as possible. But we ask you to do one thing in return. And it's not buy hot dogs or food or beverage or merchandise or parking, though that's swell. We simply ask you, stay off the goddamn field. You think it's funny what happened in Cincinnati? A guy going on the field and doing a backflip and getting tased? What about that makes you smile? Are there people who don't remember what happened to Monica Seles? Are there people who actually believe, oh, this seems like a good idea? We put a jail cell in Marlins Park, and I went to baseball in 2012. I said, here's what I want to do. If anyone goes on the field, I don't want to just have them arrested. I want them in jail. I don't want them to be charged with a misdemeanor. I want it to be a felony. I want them to not be able to get a job. I want to take away their ability to vote. I want to make it matter. Do you understand the seriousness of what it is to have a fan on the field? Oh, it's so funny, the kissing bandit. Or, oh, it's so funny, the streaker. Oh, God, look at it. Look at that. It's not. You are endangering players significantly. We tell players, leave people be. If they come on the field, we'll take care of it. The players respond. What if they're approaching? Then if the player does something physical, the player is subject to a lawsuit. The person who got on the field has the right to sue. Oh, you hurt me. Not badly enough. We showed that video, and Coca and I promised and agreed that we were going to show it for a short period of time. I'm not mentioning the name of the moron who did it. I'm not telling you that he will never, ever work in sports for me, for anyone. I'm telling you that I don't care how drunk you get. I'm telling you I don't care about any of it. Stay off the field. Thank you. This commercial has been brought to you by Nothing Personal with David Samson. It's just business.